you can probably swap them out with other switches to your liking, including Cherry MX, browns. Hey guys, I'm Abir from Vanquished Gaming, and we just got our hands on the brand new Dareu A87 V2 courtesy of Blisstyle Electronics, which happens to be the official distributor of Dareu products in Bangladesh. So let's take a look at what this keyboard has to offer. But wait, what is Dareu? In a nutshell, Dareu is basically the Chinese peripheral brand that took the Deshi market by storm with their assorted lineups of keyboards, mice, and headphones. This keyboard is the revised version of their previous Dareu A87 keyboard, which was yet another 10 keyless keyboard. That being said, this is the Dareu A87 V2. This is the white variant that comes with linear switches. There's also a tactile variant that comes in an alpha color scheme, but we only got our hands on this review unit, so this review will be about the white variant. In a nutshell, the Dareu A87 V2 is a 5-pin hot swappable 10 keyless keyboard that comes with a host of connectivity options, a 2000 mAh battery, and Dareu's own line of switches that they recently manufactured in collaboration with TTC. Let's take a deeper look at it. In terms of build quality, this seems to be built like a brick, with some decent weight to it. Much like its predecessor, it is built with some decent thought to it. It has an inbuilt cable management system, a slot for the 2.4Hz dongle, rubber feet, integrated stands for angle use, a silicone sound dampener under the PCB, and most importantly, a detachable frame that completely changes how this keyboard looks. This keyboard connects through wired mode, 2.4Hz dongle, and Bluetooth, and in regular use cases, you will have no connectivity problems. Except maybe if you're using it from like 3 rooms away. In terms of switches, this keyboard houses Dareu X TTC's brand new Blue Sky linear switches. The interesting thing about these switches is that they have a very low actuation force requirement of only 40G with a pre-travel of 2mm, right? And in terms of bottom out, it's something around 45G with a total travel of around 4mm. So that, in comparison to most mainstream switches, makes this an extremely light switch. So if you're a touch typer or a gamer, this switch is perfect for you because you'll barely even feel it, right? But on the contrary, if you're used to using switches that are more heavier, then you might need some time to get used to it. But fear not, as you'll have all the time in the world, as each switch has a lifespan of 80 million keystrokes. As linear switches, these switches don't really have much feedback to them, but do make for an interesting sound profile. There isn't much scratchiness to it either, but there is some noticeable spring ping despite it being factory loop. However, we still do recommend giving them a shot. If you're still a believer of this in 2021, then you should probably install Google Chrome over Internet Explorer. Sure, Cherry MX switches might have been one of the original producers of the mechanical switch, but over time, as more brands have come up and as more manufacturers have started their production, after much R&D, different value propositions now exist on the market, different brands exist, and different brands provide different experiences. So while Cherry MX might still be a good manufacturer, we still believe that other brands such as TTC are worth trying out, right? And if you still don't like them, keep in mind that this keyboard is a hot swappable keyboard, and therefore you can probably swap them out with other switches to your liking, including Cherry MX, browns. On another note, let's talk about the keycaps. They're double shot PVT and come in an OEM profile. They come with quite decent fonts and provide this really bleached look that might add to any all white or minimalist setups that you might have. These are shine-through keycaps, so they're really capable of bringing out all the RGB this board has to offer. You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're a die-hard Instagrammer looking for some extra replies on your Instagram stories, or whether you're a competitive gamer who thinks more RGB will give him more FPS, this keyboard is for you. Jokes aside though, this keyboard does come with some high quality RGB. They're not facing LEDs and they funnel through the switches which do have RGB pass-throughs and go to the shine through keycaps. And to add to all of that, this is a white keyboard, right? So since it's a white keyboard, the lights kind of bounce off the edges and really provide this exploded look of RGB, and that looks pretty cool if you ask me. The stabilizers on this keyboard are fairly decent too. They come clipped, tuned and pre-looped from the factory itself. My unit, however, seems to have some level of rattle to it, but that could be due to QC issues. We do recommend looking into the Holy mod and the Band-Aid mod and possibly even re-looping the stabilizers to explore the full potential of this keyboard. Nonetheless, unless you're super nitpicky like me, this shouldn't be much of an issue. Final thoughts though, this keyboard is definitely a mouse grab if you're in the market looking for a new keyboard and like one in this particular form factor. If you're a gamer, the light switches are definitely gonna cater to you. If you have a minimalist white setup, this keyboard will integrate seamlessly, and if you're like an enthusiast, then the amount of modding options on this keyboard due to it being hot swap are immense and you definitely can't pass out on this. Thanks to Dareu and Blisstyle Electronics for providing us with this very first review unit of the Dareu A87 V2, and thanks for watching. Let's end this with a sound test.